Dear participants, I, Dr. M. Rajesh from the Department of Industrial Engineering and Management, MS Ramaiah Institute of Technology, wish you all a very good morning and a warm welcome. Invoking the blessings of God, let us begin the inauguration program of ATAL FDP, online FDP titled Nurturing Today's Learners to Become Tomorrow's Leaders to Face Global Challenges, being organized by our department from 13th September to 17th September 21. I often remember the popular quote of Henry Ford, which states, anyone who stops learning is old, whether 20 or 80. Anyone who keeps learning stays young. With this message, may I now request our beloved HOD, Dr. N.D. Prasanna sir, to welcome the chief guest and all our participants for the new learning and upskilling mission to stay young forever. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Rajesh. Good morning, everyone. A warm, pleasant welcome to the speakers, the office bearers of AICTE, our principal, chief executive, chief of finance, registrar academics, registrar administration, and the faculty, and all the participants for the 5-day online faculty development program on the topic, nurturing today's learners to become tomorrow's leaders to face the global challenges. This faculty development program has been organized by the Industrial Engineering Department of Ramaiah Institute of Technology, Bengaluru, funded by AICTE under the ATAL scheme, AICTE Training and Learning Academy. So just one or two sentences about the leader, how exactly a leader is defined. Tom Preston describes as loving what you do and infusing others with energy and enthusiasm, means creating an inspiring vision and building an environment where people have the ability, the freedom, and the will to accomplish amazing results. When we think of leaders in the today's world, we often think of big names in the news, but still there are leaders working in every organization, large and small. To analyze, in fact, leadership is all around us in every day, in all walks of life, in all facets of our lives, our families, schools, committees, as well as in the world of business and in sports too. It is also felt that defining leadership has been a complex term and elusive problem, largely because the nature of leadership is complex, but leadership is one of the most observed and the least understood phenomena on the earth. In general, leadership is an influence relationship among leaders and followers who intend real changes and outcomes that reflect their shared purposes has been commonly accepted. Leadership has been a topic of interest since the ages, that is to historians and philosophers too. But scientific studies began only during the post half of the 20th century. Then on, the scholars, writers have offered more definitions for the term leadership. A 5-day online faculty development program that looks at various ways, the current and emerging definitions, the responsibilities, the technologies, which can be applied or used, has been organized by the Industrial Engineering and Management Department of MS Ramaiah Institute of Technology, Bangalore, funded by AICTE, New Delhi. A brief introduction to our institute and the department. Dr. MS Ramaiah, a philanthropist, founded Gokula Education Foundation in the year 1962 with an objective of serving the society. MSRIT was established under the aegis of this foundation in the same year, creating a landmark in technical education in India. MSRIT offers 13 UG programs and 15 PG programs. All these programs are approved by AICTE. All the UG programs and the 9 PG programs are accredited by the National Board of Accreditation. The institute is accredited with A+ grade by NAC, University Grants Commission, and the Vishweshwara Technological University have conferred autonomous status to MSRIT for both UG and programs till the year 2029. The institute was a participant to the Technical Education Quality Improvement Program, an initiative of the Government of India. The institute has 380 competent faculty, out of which 60% are doctorate degree holders. Some of the distinguished features of MSRIT are the state-of-the-art laboratories, the individual computing facility, to all faculty members, all research departments are active with sponsored funded projects and more than 300 scholars pursuing their PhD degree. To promote research culture, the Institute has established the Center of Excellence for Imaging Technologies, the Center for Advanced Materials Technology, and Schindler Center of Excellence. Ramaiah Institute of Technology has obtained the Chicago Institutions rankings, All India ranking 65 and the world ranking 578 for the year 2020. Then about the department was established in the year 1979 as Industrial and Production Engineering and renamed as Industrial Engineering and Management in the year 1992. This department has an intake of 60 students. MTech program in Industrial Engineering commenced in the year 2012. The department has been recognized as R&D Center by VTU with 13 scholars pursuing their PhD. The department has well-modernized laboratories in the areas of industrial and quality engineering, the computer lab, the mechanical measurements and metrology lab, to name a few. The department is having highly qualified, motivated, and result-oriented faculty members, and all faculty members are actively involved in research and technical paper publications in reputed technical journals, conferences across the world. The department was accredited by a NBA in the years 2001, 4, 10, and re-accredited in the years 2015 and 18 as per the new NBA format laid down by the Washington Accord. It has consistently backed university ranks in Bengaluru University and VTU. It has set a unique record of achieving first rank 11 times. The department has successfully conducted around 38 faculty development programs, seminars, and workshops for academicians as well as industry personnel, students, and technical staff. Many research projects are executed, which are sponsored by agencies like UGC, AICT, DST, VTU, and VGST. So this topic, namely the nurturing today's learners to become tomorrow's leaders to face global challenges, will definitely aim at bridging the loop to initiate pathways for students, faculties, and workforce, in particular to be prepared for the challenges and opportunities. I extend a warm welcome to our principal, our chief executive, sir, the chief of finance, the registrar academics, registrar administration, the speakers, the participants for this program. We have amidst us Professor Dr. Manu K Vora, a leading personality in the area of leadership and management. A brief biography of Professor Dr. Manu K Vora goes like this. I have the privilege of introducing Professor Manu K Vora to the participants. Dr. Manu K Vora is a chairman and president of Business Excellence Inc., a global quality management consulting firm. He has over 46 years of leadership experience and has guided Fortune 500 companies with Baldrige Performance Excellence Assessment. For over 28 years as an adjunct professor, he teaches operations management courses at business schools globally. He has contributed at over 680 educational institutions worldwide. He is a sought-after speaker on business excellence and quality management topics with over 1,200 presentations globally in 36 countries across 5 continents and published over 70 scholarly articles. He has published 50 blog posts on quality management. In 2013, he gave 2 TEDx talks, TEDx IIT BHU Varanasi and TEDx IIT Chicago. Since 2013, he has delivered soft skills and quality management topics using technology to over 680 colleges, universities globally, benefiting over 1 million students, faculties, and professionals. In 2016, he delivered a project management for organizational excellence, a GN course approved by MHRD, Government of India, at his alma mater, IIT BHU. In 2016, he was appointed a Fulbright specialist by the US Department of the State and completed his first Fulbright specialist project at IIT BHU in the year March 2018. He has BTech honors, IIT BHU Chemical Engineering in the year 1968, MS 1970, PhD 1975 in Chemical Engineering from Illinois Institute of Technology, Chicago, and an MBA with Marketing Management from Keller's Graduate School of Management in Chicago in the year 1985. As the founder, director, and president of Blind Foundation for India, he and his team has raised over $5 million to help over 2 million visually impaired adults and children in India. He received the NRI Year of the Year Award for the year 2018 in philanthropy from Times Now and ICICI Bank in Mumbai, India. Dr. Vora has received 56 awards honors for his outstanding professional service, including Fulbright Specialist Appointment from the US Department of State. He received 35 awards and honors for his lifelong community service, including US President's Volunteer Service Award also. In 1968, he received J.N. Tata Scholarship in India to pursue his work in US. On behalf of Ramaiah Institute of Technology, the organizing committee, the participants, I extend a warm welcome to Professor Dr. Manu K Vora, sir.
Thank you, sir, for giving a complete insight of our institution and welcoming all the dignitaries and participants to this program. I extend a warm welcome to you as well, sir. I now request the Chief of Examination and Professor at IEM MSRIT, Dr. Prakash, sir, to address the gathering. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Rajesh. Good morning, everybody. I once again welcome all the participants for today's program on nurturing today's learners to become tomorrow's leaders to face global challenges. So on behalf of MSRIT and Department of Industrial Engineering, I congratulate Dr. Rajesh for conducting such a wonderful program, which is sponsored by ATAL ASAT program. I also wish all the participants for participating and then learning about the leadership and then global challenges. So I wish all the best for the program and congratulate once again the department coordinators and then Rajesh for conducting this type of program. Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot, sir. Yeah, for all those kind and inspiring words and best wishes. We will definitely work towards making this program a grand success. Now it's my turn to take the center stage and brief about the program. The Department of Industrial Engineering, Ramaiah Institute of Technology, is regularly organizing self-sponsored and funded faculty development programs and staff development programs. We feel happy and thank AACTE for honoring our proposal and allowing us to conduct this 5-day online faculty development program. The genesis of this program goes like this. India is recognized as a global talent hub and in last few decades has made its presence felt in the information technology and related engineering fields. A report by Progressive Policy Institute predicts that India is expected to overtake other developed nations as the world's largest developer population by 2024. In addition to this, NASSCOM estimates that demand for advanced technology skills will be 20 times greater than the supply by 2025. Therefore, a bigger opportunity awaits India. If skills are updated and developed to face the global challenges in the field, being a volatile and highly competitive market, large owns rest on educational institutions, initiate pathways for students in general and workforce in particular to prepare for the challenging opportunities. The most important stakeholder in guiding this mission is the teachers, and his or her preparedness as facilitator in the rooms of learning is paramount. In the light of this, the Department of Industrial Engineering and Management has taken a positive step towards arranging this faculty development program, enabling teachers and educators an opportunity to learn from an erudite panel of speakers and educationalists. This 5-day online faculty development program has 15 sessions, including inauguration session and a validator program. Each session is of 2-hour duration. Every day the session starts at 9 a.m. and concludes at 4:30 p.m. There'll be 2 breaks of 15 minutes and 1 hour 15 minutes respectively. As I quote, "It's been a blessing in disguise during COVID times as AACTE ATAL Academy is encouraging the institutions to organize online FDP. Seizing this opportunity, it was decided to invite pioneers from across the globe to deliver the expert talks as it is going online. Hence, in this program, we have over 30% of our speakers who will be delivering the talks from different time zones, including Vora sir. Also, there are speakers who are invited from different parts of India to share their rich knowledge in the theme area. The much needed pillar of any program, be it offline or online, FDP or conference or any other event, is its participants. It is you all, who have shown keen interest to enroll and attend this FDP. We have over 180 participants registered for this from all across the country, belonging to premier schools, colleges, research institutions, industrial establishments. We have participants from a spectrum of professions such as teachers, professors, doctors, administrators, researchers, research scholars in this pool. Last but not the least, let me remind you that AICTE insists that the participants to have at least 80% attendance and secure 60% marks in the test that will be conducted in the last session for acquiring the participation certificates. With these few words, I once again welcome you all to this program, wishing you all a very good day and a happy attending. Thank you all. I now request our distinguished chief guest, Dr. Vora sir, to take over and present the inaugural address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Rajesh. So I want to thank Professor Prasanna for a very kind introduction, and my sincere thanks to Professor Rajesh for making me part of this inauguration program. So my topic for the inauguration area is how do we create magic in the classroom for learners' engagement? To reflect on the topic of today's FDP, nurturing today's learners to become tomorrow's leaders to face global challenges. First of all, we as a faculty need to start engaging our students and learners. And secondly, we need to focus on becoming excellent faculty in our domain knowledge. And third, most important thing in the India scene is we need to consider shoring up the soft skills, starting with the faculty and then embarking on providing that soft skill training to our students. So that's the focus of my brief presentation during this session. Now we begin with the very important topic of importance of planning. And this is where we can learn from Dr. Deming. As we all know, Dr. Deming, along with Dr. Juran, the two scientists were sent by the US government to Japan after World War II to rebuild their industrial economy. They taught Japanese how to do process improvement, quality management, quality improvement. And as a result, they produced one of the finest automotives and the electronics in the world. The Dr. Deming cycle has 4 components: plan, do, study, and act. So even setting up an FDP or creating a course, we need to first focus on the planning aspect. And we need 10% excellent planning, but then we need 90% flawless execution to achieve what we are set out to do. And remember, planning without execution is futile, but execution without planning could be fatal. And my brief comment about India scene, we need to do better at the planning level. A lot of time things happen at the last minute, and that's not good, because if something goes wrong, then we are scrambling. If we do proper plan and then execute it well, you are more assured of the success of the event, the program, FDP, and everything you have undertaken. Now, let's begin the journey on the first part. How do we engage the learners in the classroom? So I've been teaching for the last 28 years as an adjunct faculty in business school and engineering colleges globally. And I require my students to be involved in their own learning. And when they are learning something in the classroom, they need to apply it on the live projects. And they are also required to share it with their peers, the classmates. And that peer learning needs to be addressed at India scene. So the students and learners, they not only learn from the esteemed faculties, but they learn from their classmates and the peers as well. Now, here is an interesting way to look at 12 keys to the kingdom for learners' engagement. And if we do that well, we can create magic in the classroom. And here are the 12 keys. I've been deploying it for the last 28 years. So when we are starting a new session, new topic, assign it to a student who will do a brief research, come back and share a little bit about the topic, and keep rotating the students so everybody gets a chance. Secondly, as a faculty, it's my obligation to show the importance and real-world application of the topic, and then also use some icebreaker questions when we start the session, and keep rotating the students. Now, as a faculty, we must deliver basic concepts and principles, so there is no need for memorization. And as we have inherited the British system, which is encouraging mugging up and vomiting, and there is no retention of real knowledge, and that's a sad thing. We need to go away from it, deliver the basic concepts, allow the curiosity and innovativeness to flourish in the classroom. And when the session is over, ask each and every student what is one key takeaway they have taken out of the session. And by the way, after my 15 minutes, I will be asking the same question to all of you who are in attendance today. At least one key takeaway, you can put it in the chat box. Now, I was reviewing some information from the Harvard Business Publishing and borrowed item 8 through 11. You can conduct some short polls or do voting to encourage engagement. You can arrange for a role play, form small groups to discuss and come back and present it to the entire class. They need to work on the live projects in team, and at the end of the semester, they share the project results to the rest of the class. Always, you can invite a guest speaker to add the additional perspective. And most important, as a faculty, we must replenish our knowledge so that we are at a cutting edge and we give that cutting edge knowledge to our students. And if we follow these 12 items, we get a gold star. Now, I'm going to share with you the learning engagement model with the acronym CEO, collaborative, experiential, and outcome-based. So I started teaching after significant experience in the industry, working at AT&T Bell Labs, the telecom company, one of the most reputed company in the world at that time. And I observed that the workplace success comes through teamwork. So my objective when I started teaching business school classes, total quality management, etc., to simulate that environment of teamwork in my classes. So my classes require the team formation, and collaboration and cooperation is required for them to complete the course. We already mentioned about the project-based learning, so they do a live project, and in the experiential area, they also study between 8 to 10 state-of-the-art articles from Harvard Business Review, MIT Sloan Management Review, McKinsey Quarterly, etc., and write up a short summary after doing the debate in the class among the teams and the groups, and last, outcome-based. So at the end of the course, they need to put together a short one-page reflection journal with 3 items. What are the 3 key learnings they received from the course? What are the 3 key lessons they will implement? And third, what is their plan to implement those 3 key lessons? Now, this allows them to start thinking about the implementation of the knowledge they have received. Learning is fine, but if you don't apply, eventually that thing goes away. Now we segue into the second aspect. How do we as a faculty become excellent in our domain knowledge, as well as in pedagogy, delivery, etc.? So my observation is most of these FDPs run by AICTE and ATAL Academy, they are all solo learning. There is hardly much collaboration or interaction. So faculties should begin to learn in a collaborative way under the scientific guidance of the expert faculty, doing lots of introspection and reflection, because this is where you become excellent in absorbing the new knowledge. And once you understand the importance of teamwork, by learning in a collaborative way, you will be able to impart that to your students. So famous acronyms, CSIR, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, I borrowed it. Collaborative, scientific, introspective, and reflective. Now, here is the difference between the average versus gifted teachers. The average teacher explains complexity, but the gifted teacher reveals simplicity. So we as a faculty need to take the most complex subject, break it down, make it such a way that is simple and students and the learners can grasp the concepts and apply it in the real life. Now in Sanskrit, there are many forms of teachers. So at the beginning of the journey, when we share the information, we are Adhyapak. When we add knowledge component to it, we get the promotion to Upadhyay. When we share the skills, we become Acharya. When we deliver the insight, we become Pandit. When we share the visionary thinking, we become Drishta. And ultimately in life, when we share the real wisdom, we become the Guru. So this is a continuous journey going from Adhyapak to Guru, and hopefully towards the end of our life cycle, we should be striving to become the Guru. And remember, the faculties educate students by engaging, energizing, entertaining, and empowering them. And we as a faculty need to use any and all of these levers as appropriate to engage the students and transmit the knowledge. Now also remember, once we are excellent faculty, we are like a powerful transmitter. However, the receiver side, the antenna needs to be tuned. If they are not ready, the knowledge will not be transmitted. So we need to have both hands in the best possible way so that you can transmit the best knowledge and the receiver, the learners are getting it and using it. Last item, importance of soft skills. So if you look at latest surveys, more than 90% of the executives are saying that the people they are trying to hire, they need to have a better soft skill compared to hard or technical skills. The last bullet talks about for new hires, ability to work in the team is most desirable over analytical or quantitative skills. And unfortunately, in India, we have brilliant students, and this is my observation from the year 2000 onward, last 21 years. Brilliant students, they focus only on hard skill and they neglect soft skills. And as a result, they are unable to do the best in the studies, hard time getting a good placement, and even if they get the placement, unable to make progress in their workplace. So as an engineer, as a scientist, as a business people, we do projects throughout our life. So 5 most important things in order to do project management well under soft skill program is the understanding of leadership, decision making, time management, teamwork, which includes problem solving, and ultimately we do great project management, including the risk management. So over the years, I've been delivering this soft skill program with rigorous and collaborative assignments, benefiting over 1 million people in the last 8 years. And under the umbrella of Indo-Universal Collaboration for Engineering Education out of Hyderabad, been given several sessions, one for the students, 350 of them, August, September last year. Then November, December, 78 faculties were trained in the soft skill and certified as a soft skill trainers. Then for NEP 2020 deployment, we trained 16 senior leaders at the Vice Chancellor, Director, Principal level from 8 colleges and universities. and recently in July completed project management FDP for NEP deployment, training 21 leaders at the dean department head levels. Now, we all know that in the last century, the 20th century, we needed reading, writing, and arithmetic. In 21st century, those are given. We need to pick up 3 more skills, and those are teamwork, problem solving, and project management. If we can inculcate teamwork, problem solving, and project management in our learners, in our students, they will be very competently placed in the global arena to compete head-on with any other talent around the world. So in summary, brief guidance for the faculty whenever you are developing a course including FDP, do proper planning at the front end. Clarity of the evaluation scheme is critical, and don't keep changing it once it's there. Share it and freeze it. Now, most of the work should be done in the team setting, and appoint the 1 lead person for each team for accountability. Always foster collaborative learnings among teams. I mentioned about the peer learning, very important component. And as a faculty, we must execute the course plan with excellence. Also stress the time management for doing the assignments on time, and read the assignment so that you can do the right thing rather than answer something which was not even asked for. And as I mentioned, reflection and succinct summary of articles reading will lead to better retention, and make it fun for the learners while you are sharing the new information, and empower yourself to energize your learners. With that, as I mentioned, here is the request. At least write down 1 key takeaway that you got from this brief presentation I made. And with that, look forward to interacting with you in the first session on leadership excellence shortly. And thank you very much for this opportunity to be part of the inauguration program. Thank you, Professor Rajesh.
Thanks a lot, sir. Loads of thanks for wonderful inaugural address. Hope all the participants had a feel for the learners' engagement amongst themselves and their wards. Dear participants, the chief guest will continue to address us on the need for leadership and excellence immediately after the vote of thanks. I request Professor Sudhir Kulkarni to propose the vote of thanks and do the needful.
Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Vora, dignitaries, participants, dear colleagues and friends, good morning to you all. It's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks and express our gratitude to everyone who have been associated with this event. On behalf of the organizing committee, I sincerely thank Dr. Manu K Vora, Chairman and President, Business Excellence Incorporation, USA, for accepting our invitation and gracing this occasion as the chief guest. Thank you, sir, for sharing your immense knowledge and thoughts. It's my pleasure to express gratitude to the office bearers of AICTE Training and Learning, ATAL Academy, for providing financial grant to organize this faculty development program. I, on behalf of the organizing committee, wholeheartedly thank the management of our Ramaiah Institute of Technology for proactively encouraging and supporting us in all respects to organize this event. Thanks to Sri B.S. Ramprasad, Honorable Chief, for his continued support and guidance. I extend my sincere thanks to our respected principal, Dr. N.V.R. Naidu, for his constant encouragement, guidance, and support. I thank our respected Registrar Academic and Registrar Administration for their support and guidance in organizing such events. My sincere thanks to Dr. G.S. Prakash, Controller of Examination, Ramaiah Institute of Technology, for extending his wholehearted support in organizing this event. Heartfelt thanks to our head of the department, Dr. N.D. Prasanna, who is also the convener of this faculty development program, for motivating, guiding, and extending support in organizing this event. I also thank the delegates and participants who have registered for this program, without whom the objective of this program would not have been met. I thank and acknowledge the effort of Dr. M. Rajesh, Associate Professor, Department of IEM, who is the coordinator of this faculty development program, for having initiated this program and meticulously planned the activities towards successful execution of this event. I heartfully thank all the heads and faculty members of other departments of our institute, student volunteers, and all others who have directly or indirectly supported in successfully organizing this event. I express my sincere gratitude to the faculty and staff members of Industrial Engineering Management Department for the dedicated hard work and cooperation in organizing this program. Thank you one and all, and have a nice day.
Thank you, sir. Dear participants, the session continues. Please stay tuned. Vora, sir, over to you for the first session of this faculty development program.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Rajesh, for allowing me to share the next session on leadership excellence. So the topic I'm going to discuss is about leadership excellence. And the journey is, I'll begin with defining the difference between the leadership and management in the context of change management, which is world is going through at the moment through the pandemic. And then I'm going to focus on different aspects of leadership intelligence, that is IQ, EQ, and SQ. I've come across several excellent models on leadership, so I'll share those with the hope that each one of us can get some new learnings from the excellent models, and then bring it together to put together a brief roadmap for developing leadership excellence, some best practice examples, and summarize the presentation. And there are two short YouTubes which I'll be sharing in the presentation, and just to verify that the sound is going to be there. Yes, it is checked, and we will be fine on the YouTube. So we begin with a simple quote on leadership by Lao Tzu, the 6th century Chinese philosopher. He says the leader is best when people barely know he exists, and keep in mind during that time it was only he, but you have to substitute he/she. Not so good when people obey and acclaim him, and worst when they despise him. But of a good leader who talks little, when his work is done, his aim fulfilled, they will say, we did this ourselves. So the lesson we can learn from Lao Tzu is the role of the leader is not to be just coming up in the front to take all the credit and the limelight, but to promote their people, give them the right resources, and stay in the background and make sure that your people are successful in achieving the objectives with the resources given to them to benefit the organization, to benefit your institute. Now, let's take a look at the change management scenario. So they say only thing constant in life is change. So after 1918 Spanish flu, 100 years later, the pandemic COVID-19 has struck unexpectedly. Nobody had planned for it. Nobody had any idea how to deal with it, particularly in the education setting. People were scrambling. And this is what the pandemic has taught us, that we need to be prepared and we need to be ready to manage the change. And in the risk management language is called the black swan event, which was not expected, not managed, or not even predicted, but you have to deal with it. So to successfully carry out the change or a transformation in the organization, the role of the leadership is crucial. They need to be present 75 to 90% of the time because they are the ones who are going to initiate the change and make sure that they are with the change through and through the entire journey. And their role is to establish direction, do overall planning, align the people, motivate and inspire them. We do need management, but as a secondary role, 10 to 25% presence, and they do usual function of plan, budget, organize staff, control, and problem solving. There's an interesting quote from Dr. Stephen Covey, a leadership think tank. He's written a number of books on leadership. He shows us the difference between efficiency and the effectiveness. So management is efficiency in climbing the ladder of success. Our leadership determines whether the ladder is leaning against the right wall. So any and all things we undertake, first, we need to make sure that we are focused on effectiveness first. Is this the right thing to do? And then efficiency should come to do it the right way. If we go in a reverse way, we are working on something which is not required and wasting resources and getting into the ground very quickly. So always remember effectiveness first, followed by the efficiency. Now, here is an interesting contrast between the boss versus leader. I'm sure in our lifetime, we come across many leaders and many bosses. So what do the boss look like? Look at the left side, standing in front of the team or the crowd. And the role of the boss is to drive employees. Most of the time, they drive them crazy. They depend on their own authority. They inspire fear, always focused on I. When something goes wrong, they will start blaming people. They know how it is done, but they will not show it to anyone. They use people, take their work's credit. They command people to get things done, and they say, go and do it. As opposed to when we go to the right side, the leader, the pink fish, is floating along with the blue fishes, the rest of the team. Their role is to coach the employees, depend on the goodwill of their people by generating enthusiasm, always says we. When something goes wrong, he or she will show how to fix it and how it is done. Role of the leader is to continue to develop their people, give them credit when it's due, and most importantly, ask your people, what do you think about it? It's very motivating and very uplifting when the leader asks the people, what's your opinion? What's your idea? What should we do about it? And they will say, let's go and get it done together. So my sincere request is, if we are doing work as a boss, we should start migrating from left to right and try to become a good leader for our own betterment, as well as betterment for the student learners, as well as the institute. Now I'm going to play this very short leadership YouTube, that mysterious talent. There's a nice flute in the background with lots of great ideas. So please enjoy it. And then we'll talk very briefly about it at the end of the YouTube. So we saw a lot of great traits of a leader. At the core, there should be honesty, integrity, and ethics. And then you can build on additional traits as needed depending on the situation. And we can all strive to become good leader, great leaders. So to give that glimpse of it, I'm sharing with you some of the great global leaders. We'll begin with our own Swami Vivekananda. He came to Chicago, where I am currently in for the last 53 years. Right after my BTech, came to IIT Chicago for my graduate work. So Swami Vivekananda spoke at the first Parliament of the World's Religion on September 11, 1893. And he electrified the audience. After the Parliament was over, Swamiji moved around to different places in the US. Coming to India, he started the Ramakrishna Mission and the Mutt, Belur Mutt in West Bengal, Kolkata. Now we have been associated with the Ramakrishna Mission, so I'll talk about it in the social responsibility area, the work done with the Blind Foundation through Ramakrishna Missions throughout India. And Swamiji gave a clarion call to the youth to get educated and make sure that we do not stay under the British rule. Next, Nelson Mandela. As you know, 27 years he was in a solitary confinement. When he was released without bitterness, he worked with the white people and became the president of the African National Congress, a great leader in the world. Third, the Abraham Lincoln, the most revered US president. He comes from the place called Springfield, which is in the state of Illinois, where Chicago is. So we are living in the land of Lincoln. He was one of the greatest president during which time, in his time in the White House, a civil war has broken out where the southern colonies wanted to separate out from the north, and he had nothing to do with it. So he persisted to defeat the southern colony military and made sure that the US remained intact at the United States of America. Of course, he paid the price. He was shot in the theater right after the Civil War had just ended. Then we come to Mahatma Gandhi. As we all know, throughout his life, without lifting a single bullet, he was able to get the Britishers out of India. A wonderful servant leader who gave his life to have the upliftment of everyone in India. In the bottom row, corners, Franklin Delano Roosevelt and John F. Kennedy, two US presidents. So during President Roosevelt time, there was a severe economic depression, 1929 to 1933. 25 to 30% of the people had lost everything and they did not have food on the table. So he created many social welfare programs which are still in practice in the US to provide support to people who are not having any resources. And John F. Kennedy, the young president, during which his time, he had a great vision to put a man on the moon and get the man back before the decade was over. As a result, NASA created a mission to the moon, and in 8 years, Neil Armstrong was the first person to land on the moon. Two gentlemen in the middle, I briefly mentioned, Dr. Deming and Dr. Juran. These are the stalwarts of the quality management, and they are known as the father of the quality management. And one thing you are assured that if you follow the quality discipline, you tend to live longer. Dr. Deming passed at the age of 94, and Dr. Juran passed at the age of 104. And both of these gentlemen made so much contribution in writing books, making presentations, and working with the industry groups, all different domains, to teach them how to do better quality management. So each of these leaders in their own way gave tremendous knowledge and their contribution to make the world a better place. So if serving is below you, leadership is beyond you. So remember, leadership is not about bossing around and trying to show off. It's all about serving the people who are interested to you. Now, I'll go through these next 4 slides and we'll pause for some reflection, some questions, and some comments. So I'm going to take you through 3 different aspects of leadership intelligence. So first is the intellectual intelligence, IQ, intelligent quotient. This is where there is a serial processing in the left brain. Emotional intelligence or EQ, emotional quotient, there is a parallel processing happening on the right side of the brain. And social intelligence, social quotient, there's a synchronous processing in the whole brain. Now, in order to become a good leader, we need to have all 3 of them, where IQ, EQ, and SQ are required. And this is a wonderful article I came across from the Darden Business Publishing, University of Virginia. So IQ comes because of the mental capacity. It is genetic and is shaped by experiences. And you can think of none other than Albert Einstein to be most intelligent person in the world. His IQ was close to around 200 to 220. Then emotional quotient, which is about self-awareness, recognize and manage your own emotions. This is where Mahatma Gandhi will fit in perfectly. And then social quotient, listening, empathy, understanding others' emotions and helping them manage those emotions. Swami Vivekananda will be the right person. So you think of, if you only have IQ, like Hitler had a great IQ, but he had a zero EQ and 0 SQ. And what happened, all of you know, he killed 6 million Jews during his time in Germany. So, and around the world, actually, in Poland and Russia and other part of the world. So we need to have a balance on IQ, EQ, and SQ. Now, emotional intelligence domains and traits. This gentleman, Daniel Goleman, has written extensively on the emotional intelligence, and he talks about 4 major domains: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. Underneath, there are total 12 traits, and we need to keep working on it because emotional intelligence has many benefits. It will improve our leadership. It will help us in improving the teamwork. Kindly stay muted. Thank you. It will improve our decision-making, personal well-being. It will reduce the stress and it will reduce the turnover. People leaving the organization will be reduced. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing at this point and let's do some dialogue. And chat box is open. If you have any questions, you can first put the question, if not a comment. And both the presentation I'll be sharing with Professor Rajesh after the session is over, and kindly share that with everybody who have signed up for the program so that everybody benefits. Okay. Open the chat.
Yeah, the participants are requested to post the questions in the chat box.
Or any comments are welcome at this point, and we'll take a short 2 to 3 to 4 minutes time, and then we'll start the presentation again. But this is very important. In small chunks, we learn something, we should reflect upon it.
Dear participants, please post your questions.
Yes. And we have been doing it for the last 8 years. We started out at IIT BHU, my alma mater. Once a month, we used to have a 1 hour, 15 minutes thing that we started out in 2014 at IIT BHU. We arranged 12 sessions, and now those sessions have been truncated to 5 to 6 sessions. As I mentioned, leadership, decision-making, time management, teamwork, problem solving, and then project management, etc. We can definitely provide them the essence of what the soft skill is, And first, we as a faculty need to be proficient and then teach those soft skills to our students and give them additional resources which they can dive into and keep honing up their soft skills, because this is extremely critical. Unless we do that, and it should become part of the curriculum. And I've been suggesting this to anybody and everybody who listens to me, to start including soft skill in the curriculum of your courses, because that is what is required at the end of the day. Okay, I'm just going through it. NEP syllabus can implement leadership intelligence as a course. All the ATAL FDP, there is emotional intelligence component required. So I'm covering that aspect in my session here in the first session. How to gather students' attention through online mode. Now, world started doing this online in the last 18 months. I've been at it for the last 10 years, teaching at different places within the US, and then delivering some of these online programs over the last 8 years on the soft skills. Now, I've been teaching in India also on the ground, as well as sitting here. The best way to get the attention of the students is that you make your program very interesting and appealing in terms of the real life application. Like I teach project management here at Northwestern University and my alma mater here, Illinois Institute of Tech Business School. So those project management courses, I make it interesting and down to earth and practical. So experiential, collaborative, experiential, and outcome based. And that essentially helps their students to get engaged and create additional assessments, continuous assessment, rather than depending on the exams. So in my classes here, there are no exams. They study 3 different ways I do the assessment. One is they have to study those articles, state of the art, and write a short summary in the team fashion and debate it in the class. They work on the project, write a project report and present it. And then every week there is a discussion board. A question is assigned. They provide the first input and they provide 2 more comments and reflection to other students. So there is a way to engage the students in the online mode. You have to work harder as a faculty. And if you sincerely work on it, it can be done. And there are good training sessions organized. A lot of them are free. And specifically, Harvard Business School has come up with many nice webinars, 1 hour, 2 hours. You can learn different aspects of it. Okay, I'm just getting through it. Okay. Okay, so online mode. So I want to make a comment. Like here, 180 people have registered, only 110 are there, out of which I would say about 5-6 people are from the panel. So people sign up, but they do not come. So what happens is that really those who were interested in learning and attending, for whatever reason they could not get in, and those who signed up, they do not come. So they are wasting the resources, the national resources, because the AICTE spent so much effort and money to hold this program. And I've been interacting with the AICTE and telling them that there needs to be some accountability for those who are not showing up after signing in. And that is where the leadership is needed on the part of the faculty. So it's a serious challenge. And I've seen anywhere between 60 to 140 people out of 200 attending. Not a good idea. Self-awareness, how to teach the students about the same and how to identify. So self-awareness is all about emotional intelligence. And you can take a deeper dive into it. There are a lot of great resources, the books, articles, and Google can help. You do the Google search and you'll be able to get it. And first of all, as a faculty, our role is not to give out all the solutions. We need to challenge our students and learners by giving them showing them where the resources are and let them do the work and let them find the solution. Yeah. So next one is leadership qualities in human behavior by birth. So how can we develop such quality if you don't have it by birth? Now, in my opinion, leadership can be taught. Not everybody is born with the leadership. It depends whether you are interested in learning to become a leader and then how to become a good leader. And I'll show that in my roadmap for the leadership. So it's coming up shortly. Okay. Today timing was wrong. It should start sharp at 8 a.m. No, it was at 9 a.m. and there was some issues. So apologize for that on behalf of the organizing team. And there are more messages. We'll take a couple more and then I have to get back into presentation. Okay, somebody's talking about teaching soft skill cannot be done effectively for adult or college student. These days, morals and ethical studies at school level has lost importance. I think at the school level, this needs to be taught. Well, you can definitely start at as early as you can, but definitely at the higher education institute, this soft skill could be the compulsory part of the curriculum. And I was fortunate to develop such program for a brand new university in Alexandria in Egypt, where they required the soft skills in addition to the core curriculum as a part of the getting the diploma or the degree. Okay, I'm going to stop chat box at the moment, and in order to keep the time, I'll get back into the presentation with your permission so that we don't get delayed, because I have a fixed window of time and my sessions are always on time, start on time and end on time. Okay, now I'll take you in the second part of the presentation, which is excellent models. We heard about Dr. Stephen Covey, difference between effectiveness and efficiency. He wrote a nice book on 7 habits of highly effective people. So the model is this. He says, when you start out individually, you need to focus on 3 habits, 1, 2, and 3. Be proactive, begin with the end in mind, and put first thing first. Now, when you master those 3 habits, according to him, you have achieved private victory and you are moving on from dependence to independence. Then you come to the workplace and you need to focus on 3 new habits, 4, 5, and 6. Think win-win. Seek first to understand, then to be understood, and synergize. When you master those additional 3 habits, you have achieved the public victory. And now you've moved from independence to interdependence. As you remember, I made a comment in workplace, any domain, success comes through teamwork. Because individually you may be good, but if you cannot work in a team, overall success will not be as best as you can have when people are all working together and the teams are the most robust, giving the best results. And the 7th habit is you continue to sharpen the saw. So this is a wonderful book. I will highly recommend it. And one way to continue to develop our own leadership is reading about good leadership, reviewing the good leadership books, getting the essence of that book and start practicing it. That's the best way to learn and implement. Next, people were asking Dr. Covey, you talked about effectiveness, what about greatness? So he wrote the last book, The 8th Habit, unfortunately about 2 years back, around the age of 74. He was riding a bicycle without a helmet. He fell down and passed away. So 8th habit is about creating a greatness. And how do we do it? You have to listen to your inner voices and let others listen to theirs. There are a few graphics, so we'll work through it. On the left side, it shows the new age of civilization. As we know, in the very old time, it was all hunting and gathering. Then the agriculture economy came into play. 1801 steam engine was invented in UK and the industrial era was ushered. In the last 60 years, we have been in the information and knowledge economy. And hopefully, one of these days, we'll all get wiser and there will be a wisdom which is not in sight at the moment with all the bad things happening around the world, the wars, and in the name of religion, fightings going on and killing of people and all that. Now, of course, we are now moving to the mobile economy as we go. Now, on the right side, there is a whole person paradigm. In order for us to be a good leader, we need to engage our mind, heart, spirit, and our body. The eighth habit, as you can build the greatness by finding your voice and allowing others to find and express their voice, and together you can build the greatness to last. And you can use the God-given birth gifts, and you can inspire others to find their voices by addressing the organization's chronic problem shown in the table, and which requires the work to be done by engaging your spirit, mind, body, and heart. And there are 4 specific leadership roles shown on the right side. So the role of the leader is to do the role modeling, pathfinding, aligning people, and empowering them. Empowerment means results are expected by the leaders from the people, but they are also giving them flexibility to make necessary changes. So it's not just get the results without any adjustment or any modification you need to get the good results. So this is 8th habit, how to build greatness to last. Now, at the India scene, you can think of great organizations like Tata Sons. Since 1994, they have taken the US Baldrige Performance Excellence Framework as the model, the 100% carpet called Tata Business Excellence Model. And as a result, they have tremendously benefited and made progress for their 100 business units. Now, we talk about the next model is on the public domain, work done by a gentleman named William Bratton, written up by 2 faculty from INSEAD, which is the Harvard of Europe outside of Paris in France in Fontainebleau. So for 25 years, William Bratton worked in Boston Mass Transit, Boston Police Department, New York Mass Transit, New York Police Department. Now, so the story was in the article that during his time, the leadership exhibited by William Bratton was captured into 4 hurdles. In other words, in any and all organization, there'll be 4 major hurdles, and the leaders need to overcome these hurdles. First one is a cognitive hurdle. In 1990, early 1990, New York was the murder capital of the world. During the daytime, in the railways, the suburban trains, people were afraid to travel because there was so much mugging, robbery, murders going on. So, being a very clever person, William Bratton asked his all managers not to use the cars, but take the subway train to come to work. Moment the managers started riding, they realized how horrible the problem was. So to overcome cognitive hurdle, you need to put people in front of the problem. And once they see the issues, they cannot deny there is no problem here. So that's the first part of starting to solve the bigger issue. Overcome the cognitive hurdle by putting people in front of the problem. So let them accept it is there. Secondly, no organization has any unlimited resources. So one of the precinct had a narcotics or illegal drug issue. So it temporarily infused a large number of police force, solve the problem, and disperse that police force to the next big issue. So you have to optimize your resources to work on the most important thing and find the results. Third, motivation hurdle. He had 80 precincts and one or two precinct captains who had achieved great results for that week, he will give them the platform to present in front of the peers. He was putting a spotlight on people who had done great work, and that motivated others through peer pressure so that they will be coming up the next week, the following week, etc. In the last political hurdle. So William Bratton came up with a simple idea to reduce the crime in the city of New York. He said, one strike and you are out. In other words, a person steals a loaf of bread or commits a murder. They both go into the jail behind bar. Now, the prison system is managed by the legislative branch for the state and the city. Now, they did not have enough prison capacity and they cannot build the prison overnight. But the police commissioner, William Bratton, kept the mayor, Rudy Giuliani, on his side. Mayor understood the issue. He gave the go-ahead. So what he was doing was sort of silencing the naysayers and keep the higher authority on the positive side to get the work done. Sure enough, first year, there was a tremendous spike of number of people in the jail. Somehow it was managed. And then after that, the crime rate subsided. And now New York is not the murder capital of the world. Wonderful work, beautiful article in Harvard Business Review, simplified and captured into 4 hurdles. So reflect on these. These are the 4 hurdles you all will be facing at the institute level. You need to overcome those as a leader and try to focus on achieving sustainable results. Next, Jim Collins, a researcher from Stanford Graduate School of Business. He studied over 1,400 good companies and their financial performance over 40 years. And since 85 to 2001, the companies which returned 300% better financial performance compared to average. In his book on Good to Great, another great book to read, he came up with a metaphor that put the right people on the first. So when organization is confronted with big challenges, first find the right people, give them freedom to drive the bus in the right direction. That means disciplined people will do disciplined thinking and they will take disciplined action, building greatness to last for a long time. So here you can think of Tata Sons organization building the greatness for a long time to come. In the US, we have a Southwest Airlines managed and run by the employees. Then there is a pharmacy, Walgreens distributes all the medication. They focus more on employees, which are the internal customers. They take care of their internal customers, the employees. Then they take care of those employees take care of the external customers. A lot of great ideas from this book on Good to Great. Jim Collins wrote another article to the research in Harvard Business Review, level 5 leadership. So here are the different levels. A level 1, highly capable individual. Level 2, contributing team member. Level 3, competent manager. Level 4, effective leader, still not reaching the level 5 leadership. And level 5 executive is the combination of humility and the will. By humility meant that when success comes, leader will share the credit with everybody, those who contributed. And when something goes wrong, the failure leader will assume all the blame, nobody else to be blamed. And by will, when the strategic plan is completed, objectives are set, the leader will persist at all costs to achieve the results by staying in the background. Now, when he did this research and studies out of Fortune 500 companies, he could only find 0.4% of CEOs, chief executive officers, to qualify as a level 5 leadership. Very hard to find nowadays because leaders are thus, they stop at level 4 and they do not reach the level 5 because they do not have either the humility or the will. Now, here is a wonderful excerpts from the Lincoln on Leadership book written during the President Lincoln's time in the White House when the Civil War had broken out. So the story was southern colonies, they had a better weather in the southern part of US, and they were focused on agriculture, and they were employing many African American slaves to work in the plantations. And they had built up a great military militia for managing those southern colonies. In the north, they were more focused on the industrial production, and they had neglected to build the army. So when the war broke out, when southern colonies wanted to separate from the north, first job for President Lincoln was to meet and greet each and every new recruit who will pass through Washington, D.C. President will go from White House, his residence, to meet and greet each and every recruit and thank them for their service. So the leaders should not be sitting in the ivory tower giving orders and bossing around. They need to be mixing with their people and try to find out how things are. And if something is blocked, they need to open the resources. I'll take few items shown in the different colors. He was very big on persuasion, never coerce anybody to do anything for him or for the country. He was known as an honest Abe. For him, honesty and integrity were his hallmark. He was leading by being led. He was truly a level 5 leader, sharing credit and taking blame. 11 is very instructive. During his time, 2.5 years when the Civil War was going on, he fired almost 7 to 8 generals. People wanted a title, but they did not have the ability or the will to fight because of the split loyalty, their friends or families fighting on the other side. Until he came upon General Grant, who was a great strategist and tactician in military warfare. He won the war for the North, South surrendered, and the US remained intact as the United States of America. So the key is you to keep finding the right people to do the work rather than people who are just there for the titles and not able to deliver the work. Now, President Lincoln was master of public speaking. So if you do a Google search, the Gettysburg Address, where President wrote himself a 4.5-minute speech as a secondary speech at a cemetery to dedicate the lives of the soldiers who had given their life to protect the Union from disintegrating. It's still considered one of the masterpiece work of public speaking. And he was a great storyteller. So leaders are good when they begin to share stories, the folklore, where they have come from, where they are currently, and where they are heading. People get excited to hear about those stories from the leaders. So we can learn a lot from President Lincoln about leadership. So the leader is somebody that can lift others into their better shells. I've been doing some work in the last 20 plus years. When I started my company in the year 2000, the name is Business Excellence Inc. And in order to achieve excellence for your organization, you need lots of ideas to focus on. And those ideas come from your people. And then you have to do prioritization and then take 1 or 2 critical ideas which can give you the biggest value. And then when you act on it, you get the results, you review it. In general, what we do is we do all those 3 things, but we forget to celebrate the successes. So that component missing in most of the organization is celebration and recognition of people who have brought the great results. That's very, very motivating. So remember to celebrate the success of your people and their good work. Wrote a short blog on LinkedIn and also on my blog post on the economic value creation, y-axis value, economic value, x-axis empathy. 4 quadrants. We start with the top right quadrant, servant leadership. The focus is on sacrifice and service. Very few, you can count them on fingertip. So Swami Vivekananda, Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King Jr. here. Top left, the value leadership, focus on growth and profit. That's the C-level, C-suite. Unfortunately, most of those people have very little empathy for their people. And particularly here in the Western world, they have a short mandate, 2 to 3 years. They have to turn around the ship. And if the position doesn't improve financially, they are asked to leave. Of course, they bail out with the golden parachute based on the contract they've written. They get tons of money and they go to some other place and do the same thing. Bottom right, the knowledge, leadership, caring, and sharing. This is where all of you esteemed attendees and the faculty from the Ramaiah Institute of Technology, educators, all of us, what is our role? We take the intake of students who are like rough diamonds. They have all the capabilities, but they don't know about it. So our role is to keep polishing them by imparting the knowledge and giving them the best state-of-the-art information. So by the time they are ready, they can shine in the real world. And the bottom left, position leadership, misuse of power and the politics. And this is where front and middle level people, and so research shows that the good people begin to leave the organization when their immediate supervisor or managers are not working with their people and not helping them to get their work done. I hear some. Minutha, kindly go on a mute, please. You are disturbing the rest of the 100 people. I would request sincerely all of you to remain muted so that we can continue. Thank you. So the point is, I think each one of these quadrants teaches us who is doing what to create the value. Now, in the opening part, so I'm not going to go through it again. Those who have attended the opening part, this is more like a refresher, but some of you people were not there during the inauguration. We can involve our learners, the students, by asking them to involve in their own learning. And when they learn something, make sure they apply it on the project live. And when they are working on the new things, they are required to share it with the classmates. So peer learning is very important. Involve, learn, apply, and share. Faculty Excellence Model, CSIR, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, acronym borrowed here. The faculty should learn in a collaborative way under the scientific guidance of expert faculty by doing a lot of introspection and reflection so that they learn the importance of teamwork and then inculcate that in the students and the learners. We talk very briefly at the opening, Learning Effectiveness Model, CEO acronym, collaborative, experiential, and outcome-based. And this is where you can form the teams in the classroom, have the case studies where they read it and then they reflect upon it and discuss it and write in a short 2 pages per team, highly focused, and they do a live project on the outcome-based reflection journal and focus on implementation. So we talked about this in the opening. In Sanskrit, there are many forms of teacher. At the beginning, you have the Adhyapak as an information sharing. When you share the knowledge, you promote to become Upadhyay. Sharing skills, you become Acharya. When you share insight, you become Pandit. When you share visionary thinking, you are Drishta. When you share your wisdom, you are Guru. And remember, we educate students by engaging, energizing, entertaining, and empowering them. We need to use any and all of these 4 levers as appropriate. So here comes the most important slide. I call it a $64,000 slide, roadmap for leadership excellence. So first of all, we need to have our personal commitment, involvement, and accountability to become a leader. And once Okay, may I request everybody to remain muted? We are spending time for the 110, 118 people's time. We are taking it away by opening the microphone. So kindly exercise your leadership. And this is the leadership session. Expect all of you to be good leader, and whatever request is made, please follow through. Thank you. Now, once you determine that you want to become a leader, to become a better leader, you need some feedback to understand your own behavior. Sometimes we do things unknowingly, it may be blindsided, and it may be coming in the way for others without our knowledge because we are blindsided. So here we get a 360-degree feedback for the management group in the industry. Normally 10% of the workforce is management, 90% at the working level. So instead of getting the performance review by the immediate supervisor, there are about 6 to 7 people, 1 or 2 supplier, 1 or 2 customers, 1 or 2 peers, 1 or 2 subordinates. They provide feedback, and that is analyzed to come up with 1 or 2 top area of strengths. I still hear the noise. If you keep opening microphone, I will have to stop sharing at this point. Kindly stay muted. You can take care of your business offline, not here, please. And this is not a good situation. I'm wasting my time, and everybody else's time is being wasted when you start talking by opening the microphone and doing your other business. Chandana, please remain muted. I'm really sorry. This is not the kind of behavior we expect from all of you as a great faculty. So once that analysis is done, focus on 2 areas of strengths and 2 areas for improvement, short-term and long-term plan. Do additional education and training, build up the skills, integrate and apply, and nurture yourself through personal change and behavioral change, and regularly evaluate the progress against metrics you set for the short-term and long-term action plans. And then when good results are happening, celebrate your success. Here are some great ideas from the US Baldrige Performance Excellence Framework with the first category of leadership. What are the core competencies? So leaders' major focus should be to create vision, mission, and values. Now, vision is a long-term dream for your organization. It should be vivid, memorable, one-liner, less is more. I've seen vision written for many organizations, more like paragraphs after paragraphs. Nobody can understand what it is, and nobody can remember it, and that's a waste of time. Mission is a path to achieve your vision. And the last is the values. These are the common set of values which people subscribe to, in which they will behave in a positive way, focus on customer, focus on employees, financial growth, sustainable growth, social responsibility, etc. Few specific values for your organization. They do the strategic direction. Leaders teach and reinforce ethics. They review and allocate the right resources. They are master at building cohesive teams and bringing the best people in. Major role of the leaders is to provide recognition, coach and mentor next level of leaders. They lead the change, communicate effectively, and they ensure sustainability. Wonderful ideas. As a leader, you need to start working on these issues so that you can continue to add value for your organization. Essentially, role of the leader is to bring sustainable results for the long time. Now, this is about strategic direction. It says I can't change the direction of the wind, but I can adjust my sails to always reach my destination. So when situation change like COVID struck, whatever was your strategic plan, you have to regroup and redo your strategic plan to take care of the sudden changes in the environment, in the landscape. A couple of great examples what Google teaches to become effective boss, manager, leader, 6 things they focus on. They subscribe to the growth mindset work done by Dr. Carol Dweck at Stanford University, which says the intelligence can be cultivated. That means if you fail at something, that's not final or the fatal. You learn from the failure and keep working on it till you find the success. Emotional intelligence, we talked about, it is the heightened sense of self-awareness. Manager transition, when people are promoted, they face many challenges and they can learn from their peers what worked for them, what they should avoid, etc., do's and don'ts. Very big on coaching through active listening, open-ended questions, and meeting the individual communication style. Consistent feedback across teams, balancing positive and negative feedback, and decision-making, excellent. Professor Rajesh, you can exercise your authority to eject people who are constantly opening up the microphone. And that is a sad thing, but that's the only way you can control the crowd here.
May I request all the participants, please mute yourselves.
Thank you. I think all of you are very learned participants. Please do not do this opening of your microphone. When the instruction is given, please follow. Okay, and the last one, as I mentioned, they have a wonderful framework for decision making. So when some important decisions are to be made, they discuss it in the group setting, learn from each other's ideas, and then finally find the right solution for making the best decision. Next, what sets apart a successful CEO compared to the rest of the crowd? So they do 4 things differently than their peers. So they decide with speed and conviction, and they are able to move in the right direction. They engage for action by first understanding the stakeholder priorities and then use the people's efforts to get the results for the stakeholders. Adapt proactively. No matter how much planning you have done, there is not a playbook for all situations. So you need to adapt when the situation changes. Case in point, COVID-19 pandemic, people had to really learn on the fly how to do things online by giving proper training resources to the faculty so they can begin to do it well and deliver reliably by using the business management system for achieving the performance through people. Very briefly, leaders should focus on social responsibility. It is their obligation to be socially responsible in the areas they're operating. So when I came to this country as a Tata scholar, Tatas are giving Jain Tata Endowment Fund is created since 1892 to send scholars from India to go abroad, get a higher education, come back to India and help in nation building. I was not able to come back, but when I came to know that India has 15 million blind, 1 out of 3 in the world, we started this foundation, Blind Foundation for India, with the website blindfoundation.org. And as mentioned in the opening, we have raised now $5 million to conduct 230,000 free cataracts, 135 mobile vans to transport doctors and patients, 10,000 braille kits for education, and 2 million people, million children and million adults have got the free eyesight checkup. And that's the 32nd year we are in. Free Chakshudan project, Blind Foundation for India, and free Gyandan project for the last 8 years, soft skills and quality management to over 1 million people. And the entire program is written up in the American Society for Quality website. And when you receive this presentation, you are You can feel free to go through the soft skill program, which is all recorded on YouTube and it's all made public. So the road to success is not crowded, because while most are looking for ways to take, the truly successful people are finding ways to give. And with a giving attitude, every situation is an opportunity for success. So this is all about social responsibility. So my request to all of you is, as a faculty, you should take up one course which is near and dear to your heart and start giving back to the society. And when you are engaged in social service, your students will be engaged. And we have done a back of the envelope calculation that if we require all higher education institutes in India, students to do 2 hours of community service work every weekend, 2 hours for 8 months when the sessions are on, it will amount to 16 billion hours of community service work, project work in the communities surrounding the institutes. This is where students working with the faculty can learn to do community-related projects on water, sanitation, education, healthcare, agriculture, whatever is the community's problem. It can be solved in the team setting. You develop the soft skills, communication, decision-making, leadership, initiative, time management, etc. And once we inculcate the seeds in the students while they are at the institute by doing community service, when they move up in the hierarchy of the organization, they are likely to do more work to help others. And that is how we can do the nation building. So sincere request to consider making community service a required component for graduation. So nice quote from John C. Maxwell, written number of great books. A leader is the one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Now, very important, remember, leadership is not being in charge. It's about taking care of those in your charge. Ralph Waldo Emerson says about leaders, they do not go where the path may lead. They go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. So the leaders are trailblazers. So here is the thing. At the opening, you heard some of the inspiring words about leadership. To continue on that, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are already a leader. Very briefly, we can learn a lot from the leadership lessons of Lord Ganesha. We just came through the Ganesh Chaturthi, and right now the Lord Ganesha at a lot of people's houses. So through the various aspects, different parts of the body of Lord Ganesha, we can learn about the leadership. So the big head signifies source of wisdom. Big ears signify capacity to listen. Flapping ears signify keeping bad information out. A trunk signifies strength and flexibility. Big stomach signifies ability to hold information, digest, and integrate. Small eyes signify ability to contemplate. Small vehicles signifies humility and control over vasanas. And Ganesha is married to Riddhi and Siddhi. Still there is no ego. So a lot of things we can learn from Lord Ganesha. We covered this importance of soft skill. The executives are looking for new hires to have better soft skill than the hard skills. And unfortunately, our institutes are not preparing students well. So this is a major gap. Communication, very simply, it says that no matter what job we have in life, success comes 5% from academic credential, 15% by professional experiences, but lopsided 80% from your communication skills, and fill in the blank, other soft skills, leadership, decision-making, time management, teamwork, problem solving, project management, etc. So we go after 5 and 15 and neglect 80, and that's where we are not doing well. So communication should be improved. We are about to be closing in. The very wonderful work from the famous football coach, American football coach Lou Holtz from University of Notre Dame. He talks about ability is what you are capable of doing. Motivation determines what you do, but it is the attitude that will determine how well you do it. So when you are trying to bring new people in, look for positive attitude. Those who have the positive attitude will climb the higher altitude. This assignment, when you get the presentation PDF, you can work on finding your own leadership style, whether you are authoritarian, participative, or delegative. And if you have not taken this Myers-Briggs type indicator test, download the Excel file, answer 74 questions, and it will give you 4 letters to describe your Myers-Briggs type indicator, which shows what's your the affinity and orientation of being successful in life. And that tool is used to build the teams and finding the right people for the organization, etc. And it's free. So one last thing, a very short video on 7 leadership principles from the life of an eagle. Very short one. So let's listen to it and imbibe some knowledge from it. So in summary, leadership is all about influencing, igniting, and inspiring ordinary people to do extraordinary things. So as a faculty, our role should be to influence, ignite, and inspire our students, learners, so that they do extraordinary things in life and make us all proud with their accomplishments. So with that, lots of references. And remember 2 key takeaways to build your commitment for leadership. So kindly write it down, and this will come in handy. And this practice should continue for all the nice modules put together by Professor Rajesh and his team. This is one way to retain some of the great ideas which you will take it forward when you are back at your institute. So with that, I'm stopping my presentation. And since we have started late, if Professor Rajesh allows me, I can take questions for next 10 minutes or so, if that's okay. Back to you, Professor Rajesh.
Participants, kindly post the questions. May I request you to use the chat box to post the questions?
Okay, take away, collaborate, learn experientially, and implement. Perfect. Quiz link will be in the presentation, so wait till the presentation comes. Okay. Kindly put in at least one key takeaway. If you have written two, is great, but at a minimum, put one. We have 127 people here. What is missing? Right education. Okay, just 1 second. It's going fast, so I'll have to get it back here. To have better leader, what is missing? Right education or due to lack of knowledge in human values. And of course, those human values come from our own family. At the young age, whatever we learn from our parents, that's what we carry forward. So it's a role of the family members, the parents is very important. Once they are interested, the students are interested to the teachers and the faculty, they need to continue that teaching them ethics so they don't take shortcut. And the comment is right on. People who go to top institutes, they work hard to get in, but once they are in, their focus is to get the thickest or the fat package they can get, forget about learning. And they are not willing to serve the society. That's why the comments I made, the social service, community service aspect, and it should be done both by the faculty as a role model and then require students to do it. There are a number of great examples like Great Lake Institute of Management, where I have taught for a number of years. They have a compulsory Karma Yoga project. They have to do community service for the whole year of the MBA program over the Sunday. And also they have to do that project in team, write up the report, and they have to pass that course. Otherwise, they do not get the degree. So that comments are right on. We have work to do in that area. Does leaders like the person who oiled them? And this is where I think at a personal level, we need to be more objective rather than just curry the favor from the people or finding the yes man, yes people around us. So the great leaders are those who are not afraid to find the better people or the people who are more qualified than themselves, surround them with the best people, allow them freedom to make decisions and become the lifelong learners. Yeah. Effective decision making, humanitarian values going together. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, rather than writing great session or informative session, one key takeaways will be better, because that's what you have to do some work, reflection. Women leadership is felt tough. What the skills for women? Yeah, so my observation is this: in general, you can look at all the studies done. Women are better leaders than men. They are more rational. They take time to look at the situation properly rather than male people who are just making rash decisions. They don't jump to the situation very quickly. They take time to find the right solution in a collaborative way. So definitely women leadership is very much needed. It's in short supply around the world. Okay, again, rather than saying excellent session or enlightening session, kindly put at least one or two key takeaways. We have a few more minutes left before I have to sign off for the next session. Okay, walk and make the path rather than going to the same way led by many. Yes, positive thoughts, caring and sharing education, discipline of the people and discipline thought, building the greatness. Yep. Continue writing, communication and collaboration. And that teamwork thing is very important. We need to focus on students learning in teams, because that's what they're going to carry it back to the workplace. Okay, leading is working the team. Okay, communication and collaboration. More patience, yes. Yeah. So as a faculty, we need to be a role model. Okay, you like the average teachers versus excellent teacher. Okay, there is one comment about women leadership. Okay, hold on. It's moving too fast. Women can manage every field. Yes, they are taking care of the home front as well as the workplace, and they should be encouraged to take up leadership positions. They have better empathy for others, real life application in teaching. And that is one thing I would make a comment about. So I was lucky, I had an industry experience before I started teaching. So my students got the best of both worlds, the industry experience and then the theory, and theory as a foundation or the base, but more learning from the industry experience and experiential learning. That's what basically excites them. Community involvement, very important. Searching until finding the right people, channel grant, okay. Returning back to society, great idea. I think we need to start doing it at each institute, and I've been suggesting at AICTE and other places that this should become part of the compulsory requirement to get the graduation done. Because unless we do it, the students are wasting their time and that youth's energy is wasted. Okay. Okay. Level 5 leadership, take blame and give success and celebrate the success with others. Okay. I think in the interest of time, Professor Rajesh, let's close the session. I don't see any more thing coming. And once again, it's my delight to be with all of you. I want to ensure that all of you will learn something and take it back and start applying. Learning is great, but if we don't apply, that thing will go away eventually. So with that, I take your leave. I wish you all very much professional and personal success. And once again, congratulations and thanks to Professor Rajesh and the team and Professor Prasanna for his leadership to provide all the necessary support. So with that, I'll be taking your leave. Have a wonderful rest of the program, and please keep attending wonderful sessions put together. Closing comments, Professor Rajesh.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for taking us through the essence of leadership and excellence that needs to be imbibed by today's learners to face the global challenges. It is past midnight. Presently, it's around 12:45 a.m. to you, sir. I don't know what to say, whether it's good morning or good night to you. I compliment you for your energy and interest in, to involve in our faculty development program, sir. Once again, I thank you very much for being a part of this program, for accepting our invitation and coming here and making a wonderful presentation, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.